Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to all of you, to the City Council, to the County Commission. Because of all of you, we're experiencing this unprecedented momentum. So thank you very much. In case you haven't noticed, our citizens and guests are seeing a more vibrant downtown. They're seeing more people walking to and fro. They're seeing more on-street parking and seeing smoother traffic flow on Water Street. All across the city, they are seeing an increasing amount of work from the city's capital improvement plan. Sidewalks being built, fresh asphalt being laid, drainage repaired, and parks repurposed. For those who haven't seen the momentum, I'm hoping that you have tasted it at either Paint Blue, the Cheese Cottage, Brick and Spoon, Ruby Slipper, Nova Coffee, or Flipped Out Kitchen, just to name a few, who stepped up, invested in their dream, and by doing so created jobs, contributing to improving the life of all Mobilians. For those who haven't seen or tasted the momentum, maybe you've heard it about the jobs that are being added at Aerostar, Crown Health, or Airbus. Or maybe you heard the jet engines of the new Airbus A320 when Frontier took off from Brooklyn, heading back to Chicago. Or maybe you heard the noise of the crowd taking dinner cruises in the river aboard the Perdido Queen. Or you heard the excitement of the crowd playing basketball on the beautiful, state-of-the-art court built by hometown hero DeMarcus Cousins. Our vision is bold, and you know it, to create one Mobile to become the safest, most business and family-friendly city in America by 2020. While our actions are bold, the fulfillment of our vision is going to require even bolder action. Setting high expectations has challenged the status quo, requiring new thinking and better collaboration. With dozens of projects improving the quality of life, we need you, individuals and organizations, energized to keep the momentum alive. What is your goal? And when are you going to jump in and move to the tempo of the city? Some have already done it. The most recent example is the Airport Authority and its executive director, Chris Curry. At this time last year, who thought that Frontier Airlines would be flying out of Brooklyn, our downtown airport? Amazing, bold, a game changer. But even with all this momentum, we still have challenges and opportunities for reducing crime, for increasing tourism, for becoming more business friendly, for growing the city, for improving affordable housing, and for improving education. From my perspective, the heat is really on. With each passing month, leadership is going to feel the temperature rising until improved outcomes are achieved. Regarding crime, Director Barber and Chief Batiste will continue to roll out improved, multifaceted programs to address youth violence and crime in general. Almost monthly, announcements are being made to better prepare our officers to succeed in today's policing world, thus making Mobile a safer city. That combined with new partnerships and programs and new equipment, it will continue to make us a safer city. We know that our program to eradicate blight is paying dividends. In just 3 years, because of the bold actions of the City Council, we have removed half of the blight in the city, and we will continue to pursue it with a vengeance. Our YES initiative to engage our disadvantaged youth during the summer is also paying dividends, and we will continue to expand that program. In a similar vein, citizens are going to see bold changes and improvements in the programming of our recreational center and on the playing fields and courts. The city's new Senior Director of Parks and Recreation, Shonda Smith, is leading this effort. During our interview last December, she asked the interviewing panel if they and the mayor would support the effort for parks and recreation to become accredited. When you consider that there are only 165 accredited in the United States, this is a bold vision, but I am confident it will be fulfilled under her leadership. Regarding tourism, Visit Mobile, under the very capable leadership of David Clark, is picking up momentum. Knowing they needed more money to spend on marketing, Visit Mobile, along with their lodging partners, took a bold and innovative approach in creating a tourist improvement district. Once the governor signs the TID into law and the stakeholders reaffirm it, Visit Mobile will have an additional $1.6 million to spend on marketing. With the new marketing money coming their way, we can expect 2019 tourism numbers to approach 4 million visitors, which will be an all-time record. Regarding being more business-friendly, the biggest initiative is adopting the Unified Development Code. The need for new zoning code came as a specific recommendation from the planning of the Mobile Map for Mobile plan. The zoning code controls how you want your city to grow. This may be the heaviest lift, but possibly the most helpful of my administration. Shayla Biko and her team have held over 200 meetings with stakeholders, hammering out what will become a win-win-win code. They will present it to the City Council for adoption by the end of the summer. The boldness of this effort cannot be understated, nor can the importance of its adoption. When it comes to growing the city, this administration and the City Council finds itself in an unprecedented position. Last fall, when the city withdrew the emergency medical services from the police jurisdiction, citizens living in the jurisdiction started reaching out, wanting to become a part of the city. In the past, the city's administration always led annexation efforts by trying to convince citizens to become Mobilians. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and many neighborhoods in West Mobile are appealing to join the city. They want to join our momentum. Recently, the City Council wisely voted to add Darby Creek as a Mobile neighborhood after 100% of the residents petitioned to join. An economic analysis showed that the additional tax revenue generated by the neighborhood easily paid for the services that would be provided. As the City Council addresses the neighborhood request, the administration will provide them with a suggested plan that would make limited annexation economically feasible. And working my way down the list, the last two are the most important challenges. They are affordable housing and public education. Shortly after being elected in 2013, HUD officials informed me that the Mobile Housing Authority was the third worst in the nation. My greatest disappointment after being in office for 5 years has been the past failure to improve in this area. While it has been the source of my greatest disappointment, it recently became the source of one of my most joyful moments in my career. That moment occurred when a gentleman came into my office and told me of a short conversation that he had had the previous evening with his wife. It went something like this. He said, "Honey, I know you're going to think I've lost my mind, but I'm going to tell the mayor that I'd like to apply for the executive director's position at the Housing Authority." Her response, "Yes, you have lost your mind." But, thankfully, even absent his mind, the Housing Board hired him as the interim director, and Michael Pierce is a candidate to become the new executive director. For those who don't know Michael, he is mission-oriented and decisive. He's innovative. He's a quick study, and he already has a network of business, civic, and city leaders. He is driven to make a difference. In applying for this position, Michael knew that he could do the job, but he had to take a risk and step out of his comfort zone. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a concrete sign that Mobians are taking bold action to push the rising wave of momentum. The last and most significant opportunity is the Mobile County Public School System. If you recall this time last year, there was a move afoot to research the feasibility of creating a city school system. The study was in response to dissatisfaction stemming from the number of schools reported as failing. As the study was evolving, Cressel Threadgill was taking over the reins as the new superintendent. In August, knowing that the city and the school system were on a collision course, interested individuals encouraged Mr. Threadgill and me to meet. The outcome of that meeting was the realization that we needed to meet frequently and on an ongoing basis. By the second meeting, I realized that Mr. Threadgill was a mission-focused leader of high integrity, intolerant of mediocrity and the status quo. He is willing to embrace innovation and change. I am grateful for Cressel Threadgill. Like other leaders, we both recognize that cities that have the best prepared workforce pipeline are the most attractive for job growth and startups. Mobile's future is tied directly to improvements in the Mobile County Public School System. Without any reservation, I know that Cressel will reach the district's vision of becoming one of the nation's premier education systems. I ask that you please embrace his bold initiatives. Now, as you sit there and you think about the school system and the housing authority rising to be among the best in the nation, to the doubters or the naysayers, I'm here to remind you that Mobile's Fire Rescue Department, who is not ranked very high, is now ranked in the top 0.5% in the United States. Now, if we haven't given you enough to stimulate your thinking and increase your desire to jump in and move to the tempo of the city, consider these moves, these bold moves. The ducks are coming back. The plans are being finalized to build a grocery store on St. Louis Street. And the city is launching its new website today. We're hoping that you'll check it out soon. I'll ask you the question again. What is your bold? As we come to a close, consider this. A bold person who we know the most about, who rebuilt and restored a city against impossible odds, was Nehemiah. He was able to accomplish a huge task against incredible odds because he learned that there is no success without the risk of failure. There is no reward without hard work. There is no opportunity without criticism. And there is no true leadership without trusting God. Thankfully, there are many leaders in Mobile who recognize this also. Momentum. Do you wonder where or when our momentum started? Maybe it started 500 years ago in 1519 when Spanish explorer Pineda sailed into Mobile Bay, naming it the Bay of the Holy Spirit. Could it be that he defined this city long before we stepped into it? And there is something significant happening 500 years later? We may never know the answer to this, but this we do know. Mobile's momentum is real. You can see it, you can taste it, you can hear it. Can't you just feel it? The time is now. Please step up. We need your bold. God bless you.